Okay. So we are going to continue with our VPC lecture. This is a diagram that we drew yesterday. Yeah, it's still there. So we are going to create this. All right. So as I said, when you open the VPC service, you have two options, right? Immediately you open the VPC service and then you click on create. You have two options to use a VPC and more. This one will give you the what's it called? It will give you a wizard, all right, to complete. So let's say we want to create a VPC called test. Yeah, we are going to use this IP address. We are going to use this IP and then the CIDR 16. So it means that we are only blocking what the first two octets, and then we are going to use what the last two. So we have 65,000 plus of IP address. We are not going to do much with this, and we are going to use the one availability zone. Okay, this is just one. So we are going to just use one availability zone. So we just click, right? And we can also choose to customize the availability zone that we want. So here you can see
the line pixel.
Is it okay now?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I see the cursor moving. I have a feeling you are saying something, but it doesn't come. Then once in a while, it just comes like that.
Oh, then I guess it's a network.
But
Okay.
it's good now. It's good now.
Oh, okay. So you got it. Did you get it from the IP address point?
Yes. And the side, yeah, I got that one.
Okay. Yeah. So for availability zone, as I said, because this is just a simple architecture, so we are going to just use a single availability zone. Yeah. So from the options, we just select one like this, and then we have the chance to customize the availability zone. So either we want to choose any of these availability zones available, yeah, but we just leave it here, yeah, because we don't even know the physical locations. So for subnets, we are going to leave it at 1 for public, and then for private, we are going to leave it at what? At 1 as well. We haven't, okay, we spoke about NAT gateway, right?
Yeah, we did that.
Okay, so yes, so we will choose the NAT gateway, and then we are going to put it in what? 1 AZ. And the NAT gateway is always placed in the
Private subnet.
no, the public. Yeah. So the NAT gateway is
The
always
NAT
placed,
gateway.
yeah, it's always placed in a public subnet so that it will take
Okay.
it will take advantage of what the internet connection that is available in the public subnet.
Okay.
And then a route will now be created. Good. So for gate, we'll not do endpoint. Endpoint is an advanced stuff. So good. So if we pair this, right, we are going to have this. As you can see, our test VPC, it will create two subnets for us, and then it will create two route tables for us. The one for the public, the one for the private. Yeah. And then all these will be linked to what? So the public one will be linked to the internet gateway, and then the private one will be linked to what? The NAT gateway. Okay. So let's look at this resource map very well. We are not going to use a wizard to create. We are going to create every component all by ourselves, one after the other. Right. So we get to appreciate it. So when we do this and then we just click on create, the service will automatically create all these components for us.
Just a moment, please. As you go down there, I see enable DNS and stuff. Is it like a default setting?
Yes. So always you have to, especially if you would want to use your EC2 instance to host a website. Yeah.
Okay.
Always leave it on. So as for that one, just leave it on. Good.
Okay.
So when we create, it will create everything for us, right? But as I said, for us to appreciate the whole thing, we'll do it one after the other. Okay. So here I will choose VPC only. All right. And then the same VPC name test. The CIDR, we are going to use the default one. So I mean, whatever is suggested, so 10.0.0.0 slash. Let's use the 16. Okay. Even though we don't need that much, we can just do 24 to give us 256 IPs. Okay, let's use 24. All right, but any number that you would want to use, it's okay. The as you can see, has to be between /16 and then what /28. That's the most important thing. So depending on how many you may need. All right. So we create VPC. So currently we have only created this. All right. We have only created the VPC. So this is what I normally do. Let me gray out. I would
So in
gray.
definition terms, just so that I get along from something you says, in definition terms, you've just more like you said the VPC is having an isolated portion of the whole network. So that
AWS
this is
Cloud.
the portion.
Exactly. So now we have created a portion, and then so it's like you going for a land and then you've taken one plot. All right. So now
Okay.
we have just taken a small part with a cider of 24, which gives us 256 IP addresses.
Okay.
So that is the portion that we are going to use in the AWS cloud. Yeah.
Okay.
So for us, I this is what I normally do. I gray out. Uh, all right. This is what I normally do. Good. So I'm going to gray out all the components and then we'll, we'll color them. You understand? As we create them.
Okay.
So that we get to understand. Or no, let's just do a whole new diagram altogether. All right. So VPC. All right. So currently we have created a VPC. Good. So currently we have created a VPC and then the name is test. Okay. So let me put the name is test VPC and the CIDR is 10.0.0.0/24. Okay. So this is the VPC that we have created. Now the next thing is to create our subnets. All right. So we are going to add
Okay.
subnets. How many VPCs do I have here? Oh, I have this one. Let me delete this one. Oh, okay. That's fine. I think I used it for something, for a demonstration.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what we created. Yeah. It has what?
There's the test one.
Yeah. So this is what
Okay.
we created. Oh, I didn't know I have this one. Like I would have used a different private IP range. I'm just hoping it will not cause problems. All right. So we are going to create subnets. We are just going to create two. So you navigate to the subnets, all right, and then you click on create. Now we are going to what? Create a subnet in the VPC. What VPC? The test VPC, the one that we just created. This one.
Okay.
Good. So now we'll give it subnet name. All right. So we just name this test public subnet. Okay. And then the availability zone, I will leave it at where it is. Even if we don't choose a preference, our VPC is in a single availability zone, so it will automatically, select that. If we were doing a multi-availability zone deployment, then or multi-availability zone VPC, then we can select the preference where to place which subnet, where to place which subnet. But currently it's just one, so it's just the one US East A. Okay. Now the VPC CIDR, we don't touch it. Now the private net, the subnet CIDR is what we are going to do. So let's put the tool that I introduced to you the other time into practice. Yeah. So we have a VPC of 10.0.0.0/24. Okay, good. So basically, we have 256 IP address. So this is for the entire network. Okay, it's for the entire network. So we have 250 IPs. Let me open an Excel sheet so that we'll use it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So good. Let me close this. So our VPC has an IP address also. VPC has an IP address of 10.0.0.0/24. All right. And then we want to divide it into just two. Okay. We want to divide it into just two. So this one gives us a total of 256 IPs. All right. So we are dividing it to subnet A and subnet B. All right. Now let's see subnet A. We have about 50 devices. Okay. And then the subnet B has, let's say, 150 devices. Okay. So we want to distribute the IP. So here will be the IP cider. Sorry. Good. The IP cider. Now, the advisable thing you do is that you start from the bigger one first. All right. So the one that will like take the maximum number of IP address, you take that one first, and then you, the number reduces as you come down. All right. So what we will do is that we are going to calculate that of what the private subnet B first. All right. So what I do here is, so the first subnet, you can have your first subnet as the same as what the network IP, but the CIDR is what is going to decide. So 24 will give us 256 IPs, and then 28 will give us 16. But we have 150 devices in our subnet B. So I will do 27. 27 will give me 32. 25 is going to give me 128. All right. So 26. Sorry. I did 26 and then 25. Yes. So 24 gives me 256. So it means that I won't be able to allocate 150 IPs. All right. Here, looking at the CIDR, because if I do 25, 25 is the closest to 150. Okay. So it means that it is not feasible. All right. This is not feasible. So let's leave it to 120. Yeah. Okay. So what it means is that our subnet is going to have this IP. So the base will be this, and then the base will be this. So our CIDR for subnet B is going to be 10.0.0.0/25. All right. This is what our subnet B is going to have. So subnet A will be a continuation of what? Of this one. Yeah. So the broadcast IP is this. So that's the last IP address here. Yeah, that's the last IP address that we have here. So let me do 128. Okay, sorry. So that means that this will give me a total of what? 120 devices. All right, so let me do counts. Nice. So our total, let me just put it here. This will be what? The sum of, oh no, let me remove this. The count will be at the top. So this will be the sum of these two. To be this 256 minus the sum. Good. Great. So it means that we have 136 IP addresses left in our subnet minus this one will give us 128. Good. Yeah. So we are only left with what? 128 IPs left in our network. Okay. So that's 256 minus 128. So it means that the next one will also have what's it called? The next one is also going to have this, and then it will start with what the next number. So that is what 128 times this. So, but we want just 50 devices. We don't want it for the full 128 IP addresses in that subnet. So let me make it 26, which will give us what? 64 IPs. Okay. This will give us 64 IPs. So this is the closest to 50. All right. So it means that now this one will have 10.0.0.0 slash 26. And this one gives us 64 IPs. So we are left with what? 64. So it means that if we want to create another subnet, we should be able to what? To create. Yeah. We should be able
Okay.
to, yes, we should be able to create, but it will just have 64 IPs. So that means that this one in the next subnet, it is going to start with what? 192. And then as you can see, it will end at what? 254. All right. So it means that if we should create another subnet, let's say subnet P, then it will have 10.0. Hey, I was not changing this one. So this one will be 128. Good. And this one will be 10.0.192 slash
192.
26. Good. And this one also gives us 64. Then our subnet is filled up. Okay. So once I have this table, all I need to do is what? To just be copying and then pasting, copying and pasting. Okay. So subnet A, I'll just copy this, come to VPC, I'll paste it here like that. Yeah. I can add another subnet. Okay. So I click on this and then I'll say test. What was the name? Just copy this one and then paste it here. And this one will be private, test private subnet. So the same availability zone. And the CIDR block, I just come to Excel, come and copy this one for the B. And come here. Okay, this, paste it here. So let's say a typical organization, they have guests, all right? So I will say guests, test, guests, subnet. I'll put it down here and come to my sheets, copy this and paste that. Okay. If there is a problem, we will not be able to create. It will tell us that there's an IP address overlap or anything of that sort. Yeah. So let's try.
Oh,
Let's try and create and see. So it says the CIDR address overlaps with existing. Sorry, it should be 192. Yeah. Wait.
192.
Oh no. It wouldn't. Yeah, that's the base IP. So yeah, 192 should work. It says it overlaps with existing subnets. Which one? So this 128 192 125. Okay, let me do the one. It says it overlaps. It says it overlaps with this one. Yeah, it overlaps with this one.
128.
Yeah, the 128. So let's just do it again. I'll put it here again, and then I'll do 25. Okay. 129. Okay, the last usable one is 254. No, the first one was this, right? So that should be 1, 2. Okay. I've seen it. So yes, this one was rather a mistake we did was this. So this was what we did the first. So yes, the bigger one first. So it should be .0.0, and this one start with 1, 2, 8. Good. So this was how it's supposed to be. So let me copy this again, because we did a bigger one first. So that was the second one.
Before the
Yeah,
50.
yeah, before the 50. So good. And then the second one now comes. Let me bring it here. So down the second one comes this way. Paste that here. Good. And then now this should solve the problem. Nice. So now if we create, you can see it's now creating. So always you start from the top.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have our sub. Yeah. Okay. You want to ask anything?
No, I'm just looking at the numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm good. Can I see the Excel sheet again?
Okay, sure, sure.
So that means that we start with the 128.
Yeah, so you start with the bigger one first, and then we went here, and then now
50.
the last one. Sorry, Ted.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one will also give us 64 devices.
Okay, I get it.
All right. So as I said yesterday, AWS reserves what? 5 IP addresses, the first and last one, and then 3 other ones. So as you can see, even though this one was supposed to give us 64 IP addresses, we have what? 59. The same thing with this. This one was supposed to give us 128, but we have what? 123 that's available for use. So AWS reserves those IPs.
After you've created it, just
Mm.
assuming you forgot that. Can you go back?
As in, I forgot.
Let's say you forgot that when you create it, the
Mhm,
5 will be taken by AWS.
mhm,
It slips your mind. And
mhm,
then you use the exact number as you want it to be, as
mhm.
you want it to.
Yeah.
And then later you realize that, oh, okay, they take 5. By then, instead of the 64,
Mhm.
which you're hoping for, it has now become 50 something there. Can you go back and change it?
Yes, you can. You see, there is edit cider reservations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can add, right? So, or the simplest thing is that because what you if you are doing the reservation, right? If you are doing the edit reservation, it means that you want to add another set. So as you can see, okay.
Okay.
It means that you want to add another set of IPs. It's not. It's kind of complicated, right?
Okay.
Because you are going to request it. So a CIDR reservation prevents AWS from automatically assigning addresses in the specified CIDR range. Good. So what you can do is that you can just delete this one, yeah, or you can delete everything
And then
and
you
then
create.
recreate it again. That is actually the simplest way for
Yeah,
you to
it's
do
true.
it. Just delete it and then create it again. As far as you haven't provisioned the device in that subnet. If you have a device there, then that is a problem because it means that you have to delete that device first. So that is if like there is an EC2 instance, it means that you have to
Mm,
terminate the EC2 instance before you come and delete the subnet and then recreate it.
okay, I get it.
Mhm. So let's go back to the drawing. So now we created 3 subnets instead of what 2. So let's go to subnets. Now for the subnets, the first one, yes, we'll maintain it to be we'll maintain it, all right, as what? The public subnet. And the other one for the guests, we'll also make it what? A public subnet, all right? And then the last one will now maintain it as the private subnet, right? But as it stands, we have only created them. For us to make this a public subnet, so let me change the name. So this is how you have to name your architecture, right? Your diagrams. So this one is test public subnet, and then this one has a CIDR of 10.0.0.128/26, and then this one is it's test guest subnet. So test guest subnet, and that is 10.0.0.192/26. I hope I'm mentioning the figures right. And then this one is test private subnet, and the CIDR is 10.0.0.0/25. Yeah. Yes, that's it. So this is the diagram. Now the next thing is to, as I said, for us to make a subnet public, we need what? It needs a route to the internet. But as it stands, we don't even have internet connection in our network. Why? Because we need a component called what? An internet gateway, right? To give us a door to the internet. So in the VPC service, we come to internet gateways here, and then we'll create an internet gateway. So we just create an internet gateway. So I'll do it test. Okay, wait, let me change what is here first. That's what I used for a demonstration earlier. So let me do test VPC. Good. And then now we use that one for. So I'll create it, and then the name is test, and then the short form for internet gateway is IGW. Okay, and then create. So as we have created it, it's a standalone. As you can see, the state is what? Detached. So we have to what? Attach it to a VPC. So you see an option here, attached to a VPC. In case this what you don't get this, you can also use the actions, and then you click on what? Attach VPC. Both of them works. So I will click that, and then I'll select the VPC that I created. Now the beauty of it is that the AWS system is kind of smart. So it only will show you VPCs that hasn't been attached, all right, or that doesn't have a gateway attached to it. So as you can see, it's what? This one.
Okay.
Yeah. So the test VPC, I select it, and then I attach the internet gateway. So as you can see, the state has changed to what? Attached. So this is what we have done. Internet gateway. Okay. So I'll attach the internet gateway to the VPC. All right, like this. So the name is test IGW. Great. Okay. You can even name it this way. So internet, because you would want to make your diagram, understandable or easily readable, right? So you name it like this. Beautiful, like this. Nice. Okay. Now let's create the route to direct, or let's create a route to the internet. Okay. So we go to route tables. And as I explained earlier, so let me filter by the VPC that we just created. which one is it? Okay, yes. So I just filtered it by the VPC that I just created. So as I said, when you create a route table, all right, sorry, when you create a VPC, the VPC service automatically creates one route table for you. That is if you use the VPC, like the VPC only option. But if you create more,
Okay.
it's going to create the route tables according to what you use, the subnets and then the configurations that you set. But when you use a VPC only, it just creates what one route table for you. So I'll use the main one because the main one already has a route. So as you can see, it has a route towards the local communication. So as you can see, the destination is what the VPC sider, and then the target is what local. So
Okay.
it means that only resources within your network will be able to what communicate with each other and not the internet. So I'll rename this as test private. I'll use it as my private route table. So RTB. So the short form for route table is RTB. Yeah. And I will go to the subnet associations. Okay, after the route. So this one I didn't add any route. But if I wanted to add the route, I will do it. So we'll do NAT gateway and then we'll come and add the NAT gateway route to this one. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So I'll go to subnet associations here. And as you can see, I have three subnets. These are what are without explicit associations. So currently it's just there, and then it's associated with all of them implicitly. So I'll click on edit subnet associations, and I'll associate it with what? The one that I want to make my private subnet. Okay, good. So I'll just come here and then add it to my diagram. So I'll search for route table. Great. And I'll use this one, the black one for the private one. Okay. So as it stands, this is what we have. All right.
So you are using the default route table created for
For
the
the
private
private,
one.
correct, correct.
Any particular reason?
There's no reason. I can actually even delete it and create a new one.
Okay.
But because it's there, I'm like, okay, let me just associate it because it has that one has one route already to my network. All right. And then I
Okay.
wouldn't want to add any new one. The only one I'll add is to the NAT gateway. So I just decided to associate it with it. Or I could still create a new one. All right. I'll still create an or I can still I could have even associated with the public subnet and then added the route. The most important thing is adding the route and then associating them, but there is no like specific.
So this same route table could have been associated with the public subnet or the
Yeah,
guest subnet.
yes.
Okay.
There's absolute no reason. So as if I come here, I can edit this, right? Remove this one and then associate them here.
Okay.
Okay, it works. There is absolutely no reason. As you can see, it also works. Yeah. It's just a default preference. Yeah.
And we are associating a private subnet,
Uh-huh.
though it is local to route table because we may want to access the internet along the way.
Yes,
Kind
no,
of.
currently, I mean, yes, I said that we are going to add routes to the internet, but I ended up doing the private gateway. Forgive me for that. But let me push this one up. I don't want it to come into the picture. Uh, yeah. So I didn't do that first because it's just local communication. So still we don't have a route to the public internet. All right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are now coming to do the route to the public internet for the public subnet. Currently, this one is only for local communication, so internal. All right. So it's only this subnet that
Okay.
can maybe speak to resources here, communicate with resources here. This one can communicate with resources here, but and then vice versa. But it cannot transfer to the internet because there is no route to any internet resource. All right. Now,
Can I bring something in? It might be a little bit off code,
go
but
ahead.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to understand something.
Go ahead.
In the VPC parent that I did yesterday,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I noticed that before, like you were saying that though
Mm-hmm.
we've not added an internet access to this particular one that we've done,
Mm-hmm.
the public can is the only one that can communicate to the private and like that through the route table created.
Mm-hmm.
But does it mean that it is default they can communicate to each other, or you have to do the pairing before they can communicate with each other?
No, by
I don't know
default,
if you
right?
understand what I'm.
Yeah, I understand. So with the main route table, okay, when you create a VPC, a main route table what is created. All right. This is what we renamed and then now explicitly associated it with what? With one one subnet. But what happens is that
Yes.
when you create one VPC, the route table is the configuration there, the default configuration there, as you can see, route, all right, is local communication and is the entire network. That is, this is a CIDR for the network, right? 10.0.0/24.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So by default, kind can see the route table, the communication is able to happen. If I delete this route table, then even the resources within the subnet will not be able to communicate with each other.
Please hold on. The line went off. I didn't. It said by default, and I didn't get anything again.
Oh, okay, sorry. So what I'm saying is that it is, yes, because of the route table. That is why internal communications happen. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I delete this route table, then even resources within the same network are not able to what? Communicate with each other because there is no route as to where to go.
Okay.
It's just like you building with no doors,
Okay.
all right, or with no, clear pathways for, where to go. If you want to go to the kitchen, you pass here and pass there. If you want to go to this place, if there is no route, all right, that shows the direction, then nobody can go anywhere. So it is the default, the main route table that comes along with the VPC that, and facilitates that communication. So without the route table, even resources in the subnet won't be able to communicate with each other because they will not even know where to go. All right.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So I have associated that with the private subnet. Now let's create a route to the internet. So I'll create a new route table and I'll name it tests public RTB. Okay. And then I'll put it in the tests. That's one, the one that I created, and I'll create it. So when you create a route table, as you can see, it also comes with what? A default route. So as I said, there's no reason for even associating the main one or the first one. There's no reason because it will come with the same route. Immediately you create it and associate it with a VPC, you are going to have a route for local communication. Okay. And then if I want it, I want to, so I can create a new one and then set down. So for this one, I can set it as what? The main route table. So there's no reason, like nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So now I'm coming to add a route to the internet. So on the route tab, I click on what? Edit routes. And then I'll click on what? Add routes. Yeah. And I'll say that every traffic. Okay, so the destination is what? 0.0. This is for the public internet. So anytime you see an IP address like this, that is for the public internet. Okay,
Oh, okay.
0.0.0/0. This, and then the target will now go to where? The internet gateway. So which internet gateway? The one that we just created. This one. Okay, so this is, so the destination and then the target, and then save changes. And then we'll now go to the associations, okay, and then edit subnet associations, and I'll associate it with what? The public subnet, okay.
Okay.
For the guests, I'll show you something. So for the guest, this is like an extra thing that I want to add. It just came to my mind. So
Okay.
for the guests, I'll save this, okay. So now what we have done is what? Created, sorry, it's for the
Yeah.
public. We have created this and then added a route to the internet gateway. Okay, and then associated it with what? The public subnet. Now the guest, you realize that when you go to places, they have guest Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
That's I mean, people can connect to. So for the route table, I'll create a new one for the guest route table. So I'll call it test guests RTB. And then the same VPC, and I'll create. Okay. For the route, I'll remove this route. Okay. Okay. They will not allow me to. Okay. I think they have removed their option. What I can do is I can remove the route to the local resources. Yeah. So that
Okay.
if anybody connect to the subnets, okay, if anybody connect to that, that range of IP, they will not be able to even communicate with my local resources. They only have access to the internet.
Okay, so if I get it, if I though when you created when you created the VPC,
Mm.
the default routing that came with it allowed communication between all three subnets internally, local.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what you are saying right now, you could have actually more or less edited it so that the guest part does not have access to even communicate locally, only
Yeah,
to
internet.
internet.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But it looks like they've taken that option off. So you do that with what
It
you
used to
call.
be an option.
Yes, it used to be there. You can just remove local routes.
Okay.
But I think because if I remove this, I still have to select something. A network interface. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we can just leave it to local. Okay. And we'll add another one to so there's no need to create it. If that option is not there, then there's no need to create it. So what I will do is that let me delete this route table.
The guest one.
Yeah. And then I'll just associate this one, the public one that I created. Yeah. I'll add it to so we can associate like many subnets with one route table.
Okay.
So you see, I select the two, so the guest and then the public, because they are basically the same thing. Or if you want to just separate concerns, but normally in the working environment, that is the appropriate thing to do. You create a route table for each subnet. That is if they are not the same, like they are not doing the same thing. So for example, for the guest, it is actually appropriate. The appropriate thing is to what? Create a separate subnet for the guests. Create a separate route table for the guest and give it its own routes. Okay. But for this demo, let me just leave it at that. So as you can see, now we have two subnets associated with the public route table, and then just the single one with this, right? So for the diagram, so normally I can do it this way. Let me bring it. Okay, it's in the front. Okay, normally I can just do it this way to show that it is what? It's associated with,
Connecting
yes, with the two subnets. But for clarity, let me put it here. Good. So this one will be test public RTB, and it's the same thing here. So I will name it test public RTB. Nice. All right.
Okay.
So
If
this
but
one,
if you had a new one, it would have been test guest RTB.
yeah. So it will be test guest RTB if we had created a new one.
Okay.
Or let's just create a new one. All right. So that the understanding will be better. So let me just change it to guests. And then let me just create a new one. So let me edit the association and then remove the guests. Save that. Create a new one. So test guest RTB. Good. Okay. This and save that. Nice. So the route edit. This one will also have destination, the internet gateway, and then this one, save. Good. So I'll edit the associations and then associate it with the guest subnet. Good. So now we have 3. So just like our diagram. Now the next thing. So our public subnet, so this one will also have a route to the internet. Let me bring it here. Nice. Great. Now, our public subnets now have internet connection, but we need a way for our private subnet to also connect to the internet without allowing traffic from the internet to just come in. Okay, unless the request is coming from what? Our private subnet. So then we use what? A NAT gateway. So the same thing, we come still under VPC. Okay, we search for what we call NAT gateways here. So we select that, and then we create a NAT gateway. This one will cost you money, NAT gateway. For just you pay per hourly basis. So if you are using it, just take caution.
Costs you money. Let's say, even as let's say you give work, and I'm doing it, or we are all doing stuff. That's what you mean by cost money.
Yeah,
Or
you'll be charged. You'll be charged for using NAT gateway. All the things that every other thing that we've done so far, it doesn't cost money. But if you are using a NAT gateway, right? But it's small. Let me check the cost and billing. Hold on for me.
sure.
Yeah, let me show you my cost and billing dashboard. So if I go to bills, I don't know if I'll see a bill for NAT gateway.
Yes.
Okay. Let me show the bill for July, because I use some NAT gateways there. So so this as you can see here, you see NAT gateway, right? So you pay for the data process, but I didn't use it. And then per hour, so that's I use it for 3 hours. As you can see, 3 hours cost me 0.1. It doesn't cost much though, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that it costs money. So for
The way they are pricing this, I don't know. I'm always noticing like point zeros, like digit stuff. How did they make so much money from this?
but no, for me, the thing that I'm using is small. The bigger companies are using like heavy duty stuff, right? When you are provisioning the instance, they tell you to select T2 micro and then all that, right? But the company that uses like heavy duty,
Yeah, the instance type.
Netflix doesn't use T2 micro. They will use like the RX, the C's, the M's, and then those ones cost a lot. Yeah, sure. If a company shows you their AWS bill for the month, you run. Sure. Some pay as much as like $20,000 a month for their AWS bills.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's nothing. My my mentor's current company, right? He said they make about their minimum tenor, profits a week is around, $1 million, right? $10 million every week. So if they are making $10 million every week and they are paying 20,000 as AWS bills, that is small money.
All these monies you mentioned, look like you're
Yeah.
watching a movie.
Yeah. No, there's money somewhere. So
Take and leave me alone. Leave me
any
alone. Go.
so we'll do a test NGW, and we are putting it in what? A public
The private.
subnet.
Or we put it in a public, but we
Yes.
connect it to a private.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
really get that
yeah.
part.
Yeah. So we look for the test. This is not this one. The one we just created. So get this guest. Yes, this one. Public. Yeah. We can also put it in the guest because the guest is also a public sub.
Access to the internet, yeah.
Exactly. But let's just put it here. And then as you can see, the connectivity type, it should always be public. If you make it private, see, they will tell you private NAT gateway traffic can't reach the internet. So it should be public. And then we have to allocate what we call an elastic IP. All right. So anything that has access to the public internet needs to have a public IP address. And then because the NAT gateway is a resource, we don't want to. I spoke about static and then dynamic IPs, right? IP
Yeah.
So it needs what? A static IP address. It shouldn't be an IP address that will change frequently. So you have to reserve an IP for it. So you just click on allocate, and then they will attach what? An elastic interface. Okay, IP allocation interface. Okay, and then create.
Or they will do that one for you.
Yes, AWS will do it. Immediately you click on allocate, it will do it for you. Okay, so it is in a pending state. It's not yet available, but we can go back to our route table. Yeah. And then now edit the route table of the private subnets. So I'll edit the routes, and then I'll add a route that says that any public bound traffic should go to what? Now it should go to the NAT gateway. And then we select the NAT gateway that we just created and then save changes. Okay. So currently what we have done is this. So NAT.
Just a moment, please.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. Should I go back to the
The thing stored for like a sec up to the selection of the next gateway.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Please, small.
Okay. So if you edit the route, so let me remove this. Yeah. So I'll just add a route and say that any public bound internet, all right, or public bound traffic should go to the NAT gateway. And then which NAT gateway? The one that we created. All right. So we select that and then save changes.
Okay, and we've already associated with the private. That one, no, the public.
Yes, we have already associated with the
At,
public.
at what point was it by default that you selected it? Then it's automatic that the private one will route it get into internet through that part, or you have to do some connections again.
Uh, you mean when creating the
You created a NAT gateway and then
yeah
you associated with the public
subnet?
subnet.
Yeah.
Yes. And what it means, the NAT
Mm,
gateway gives us the private subnet access to the internet through the
yeah,
public.
yeah,
Once you do that, automatically that connection is created between the private and then the internet
exactly. So
by now.
once, so all you need to do, so now we have already associated this route table to the private subnet, right? So I
Yes.
just came to the route table to edit the route in the route table to what? Now see that, okay, any traffic that is going to the internet should be sent to what? The NAT gateway. All right.
So you
So
edited the route table of the private one.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what we have done is this. Let me bring the NAT gateway first. Okay. So the NAT gateway was, provisioned in the public subnet. Okay. And then we created a route that goes here. So this is what we have done.
Okay.
Mm. So it means here, from here, if any resource is here and then want to access the internet, it is the NAT gateway that will now rather what communicate with what the internet gateway.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. So it's just like building a room and then having a panic room or a panic door. Okay. It is only accessible to you alone. Okay. We can also take VIP sections in the stadiums, for example. The VIPs don't use the same entrance like what the normal public uses. Yeah. They are normally
For the
even
web.
come. Yes. Yeah. Normally they are even coming with their own cars. So they have a different entrance. They will sit and then watch the game with you, but they are not sitting at the same place as regular ticket holders are. So that is the same concept in the private subnet and then the public subnet.
They actually
Hello?
use a different route to the stadium. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
you hear me, please?
Yeah. When you go to the stadium, yeah. When you go to the Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. When you go to the stadium, the regular people, okay, have an entrance. They have a different entrance. And then the VIP has a different entrance that they use to enter the stadium.
I see.
Oh, you've not been to the stadium before, eh?
Oh, I think once, but
Uh,
once, yeah.
yeah.
I think once. Yeah.
Okay. So wherever you pass into the the stadium, right? The VIPs don't use that. They don't use that entrance. You don't even see them going. Yeah.
Seriously, I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yes. Their
The only
entrance
time
is
I used to spend there was during Interpol stuff. Apart from that,
oh,
I've
okay.
been there once to watch a match, and I didn't even pay attention to this stuff. I didn't.
Uh-huh. Oh, they are there. You will see the entrance, but the thing is that when it is time for games, right? The VIP uses that, and then you will use the normal place that has those metals that you pass through them and then enter the stadium.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay.
So this is our architecture now. Okay. So this is basically what we have done. Now the next thing we are going to do is what we call secret. We are going to look at. I'm sure there's like plenty info now. Yeah. So I will leave it to you.
I'm wondering why somebody will go through this when the other one is there. That's the reason I'm asking myself right now.
Oh, but yeah, I went through this to understand it, right? That's why I'm able to even explain it better. If not, we would have just used the VPC and more, and then we'll go our way. But it's just like nice that you get to understand the whole thing
Well, yeah,
first.
yeah. I'm sure once I take time to watch the video,
Yeah.
all of that,
So yeah, just
I'll
watch. Yeah, when you watch the video again, you just take your time. You can even now do it alongside as I do it. Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
should be okay. Yeah. So I'll I think let's end here. When our next meeting would treat what you call network access control lists and security groups. All right. That is a network security feature. So we'll treat it. Say, I'm watching a holiday, right?
What's your holiday?
Yeah. What's Founders
Yeah,
Day?
well.
Say Founders Day in the end there.
And
But
your China holiday,
yeah,
man.
exactly. Yes. So
I'm a different TV, and your sister, and my mother. It's just I think temporary.
uh
Okay. Who's a Chinese one here?
no, we will not meet tomorrow. So I think
I know somebody will be very happy.
yeah, so maybe God willing tomorrow we can meet again, then we'll go through security group and then network access control list. Yeah.
Okay, I think if we are to like if we become certain of it, because
Mm.
obey today you be all around this time be with them.
Okay, that's fine.
But I think that no panel, I didn't know that there was that stuff. I have put my
Your
classes
class
there.
there. Oh, mini
And
problem. I mean, it's for your
I mean the way around you be there.
no. Mini problem.
Okay,
Mm.
that's great.
Yeah, sure.
And then also to be frank, I think we know
Mm-hmm.
of A na right from educate to the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's lab so far to me is the one I really enjoyed. The VPC parent, I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
now I can you see the eve 2 hours, 2 hours and something.
Yeah.
I the whole 2 hours in there, me also gonna first let me home baby and fanfare. But now I think I can really see from starting to ending
And then
through the whole process, how to connect them and stuff. And then the scenario they created, I really enjoyed. I
nice,
really enjoyed it.
nice.
I wanted to ask if
Mm-hmm.
today my AI plus other ones are here. Would there be a situation where all of
Mm-hmm.
these things will come on board and stuff like that?
Yeah. Um. So just like the CloudQuest scenario, right? You might get into a
Yeah.
company. You might get into a company and then you have like stuff a case study like that, all right, to resolve. Uh-huh. So those ones are there to just equip you to have the skill so that anytime there is an issue like that that comes up, you have the idea, oh, this is what I would need to do, this is what I need to do. So that's it. Okay, that's how it is. Hmm. Okay, bro. So for this one, the only thing I would say is that, as you said, just try and then, practice with it. Yeah, practice with it.
Okay.
VPC there, I also enjoy doing VPCs. It's
I think when you understand, it's really nice.
yeah,
We are all complex now, but I think when we were able to
understand it.
figure it out,
Yeah.
yeah. So I intend ask me if a video,
Mm-hmm.
help me out if you're different way and catch up.
Yeah.
Then I might possibly want to do the VPC more and have an idea of how it will look like,
Like okay.
and
Okay.
then just like a picture, so that when
Yeah.
I'm also done with going through the VPC only, I
Mm-hmm.
can do a comparison.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I even forgot to show you this one, the resource map. Yeah. So after we have done everything, say for resource map, you see the same thing here. Mm.
Okay. Okay. This one.
You know, when we chose the VPC and more, we had something like this. The only difference is the guest one that we added,
Okay.
but the rest everything is just the same.
We'll handle what that is.
Yeah.
Matters.
Okay. Sure. Hmm.
But our timeline, is that when can we say that we have covered you know the curriculum?
Yeah. So currently, I just have to take you back to compute. We'll do the storage again. Yeah, EBS, right? Me,
Okay.
what's it called? Be EBS, EFS. Okay. And then we'll do IAM, identity and access management.
Yeah, nothing. I saw a job on just that.
Yeah.
You were
Cause
paying, was it 100 and something, 70 something thousand? And I'm like, just that I am on one.
yes, so your job is to just will be creating users, managing users, and that they. Cause I saw a job just on that.
They just that one on one, like that small portion. And then
Yes,
just I am on one.
yes.
And then the person who's
So
supposed to American create and then give
permissions and then
permission. Yes, thank you. Those
yeah,
things and stuff. Now, you know, antique, yeah, $171,000 now.
yes. I mean, that's how it is. If you are lucky to get, I mean, so this will obviously be a big company that needs to like offload certain tasks to individuals. Uh-huh. When you go to big companies, like there will be somebody whose job is to just create VPCs, like or be a VPC or a subnet and adding to where we the network security person will come and then set up the security groups and everything. Honestly,
That is all.
yes.
This is my IEC say like
Uh-huh.
VPC. I would tell you,
It will
you
uh-huh.
know,
I'm
go down in the money.
yes, and obi ne de ne de ane de. Though we are coming to create, so we want a new data center. Okay, put it in maybe let's say Stockholm. So the person will just have to navigate to Stockholm, some region or Hadi Atasa. So this is Stockholm. And then no eco creates. Oyala knows where so he will close the ticket that he is done. That's all. And they can even give you 1 week. A ticket that lasts for 1 week for just this. So that is why a lot of the I mean, people who do remote jobs, they you 1 week day, or they be 3 days be chill at asa. Because I mean, you just have to let them feel like you are working at asa.
You
You
are
are
working. Because if you ain't working, I really got the money.
and and don't wait until last day too. Until you I'm on 5 days. I will chill it 3 days. Fourth day, yeah, not close ticket, I mean, you've closed your ticket before deadline. Oh, this guy is really doing well. The rest in until the last day so or he's free at asa. Most of the time what they do is one on ticket now he will sit down, I mean do it at asa, but on submit on close tickets
Okay, okay.
or trying a fourth day no work or submit, then the job is done. So that's how nice it that's how
If you continue
nice it
talking to me like this, like every day like this, when did I go in there? It might be a jet.
is.
Remember that one be money. Oh, because it was when I saw that job alone, no, I
Mm,
said, hey, it's just okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Mm.
cool. Anyway, all right. I mean, that's it for today.
Masumi, that's it. All right. So yam watching now.
Pocho say, it be too, you know.
Yes. On it on
Okay.
under that didn't hear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
All right, sure.
All right, that's it. Let me show.
All right. All right.
All right.